Hello and welcome to FP Talks. I'm Farooq Patafi. If you haven't actually subscribed to this channel, kindly do so and do press the bell icon so that whatever content I generate reaches you without any delay. Usually, those of you who actually follow me regularly know that I don't post English videos on this channel. I usually actually post videos. I have another channel called FP Direct at the rate of FP Direct, DIRECT. FP is my initials. Usually I park every video in English there, but because this is of the concern of Pakistan and not on international matters, I thought that I'm going to make this video here and I'm going to park it here as well. Today we are going to talk about the subcommittee of US House Committee on Foreign Affairs hearing on Pakistan, and because it actually got a lot of coverage in Pakistan, and I wanted to actually comment on various aspects, but I'm hoping to keep it brief because there are two or three things that I wanted to comment on. One, of course, it is flattering to see that this subcommittee not only attaches so much importance to Pakistan, and I was really impressed with the remarks of the chairman Chairman Joe Wilson of the subcommittee and the ranking member Dean Phillips as well. So I wanted to say this because it is heartening to hear that they attach a lot of importance to this relationship. So, this was one thing, and I heard the questions also. I thought that within their own context, they were brilliant questions, and they showed exploration, desire to explore all angles of U.S. interest, which is legitimate, right? There was one grandstanding episode, and that was actually from the representative Brad Sherman. But we know Brad Sherman has been focusing on South Asia for quite some time. He's all very active in India caucus as well. And then when it came to Pakistan, he raised some legitimate concerns as well. For example, those reported conversions in Sindh. I think that we all Pakistanis also would actually want to see an end to any malpractice if it is at all happening, right? But then he switched gear and he actually did something which was so indicative of any smart politician. He started by actually delivering a very robust and angry, defense or support statement in support of Shakil Afridi. And when we thought that he is going to ask for some kind of sanctions or something, all of a sudden he actually flipped the question and made it about Asaf with Afia Siddiqui, which is a demand which is very popular in Pakistan, right? Because somehow I don't know that much about Afia Siddiqui, I don't know that much about Shakil Afridi, but I know that how both of them are viewed in Pakistan. So this kind of argument I've heard many times, and it is quite interesting. So I thought that I will acknowledge that I do acknowledge when I see a smart operator, and my tip of hat to the representative from California. Then, even though the questions were interesting and one was like kind of akin to pontificating as well, but Greg Casar and Gabe Amo, their questions were interesting, but I was really impressed by their interest. They're both very young, right? Gabe Amu was actually is from Rhode Island and is a Democrat, but he has also served in the Biden administration as Assistant Secretary on Intergovernmental Affairs. So that was also quite intriguing. I thought that he spoke very well, and one could actually see his concern about media freedoms, democratic freedoms in Pakistan. But this kind of leadership and this kind of articulate behavior was very impressive. I like that. I can disagree with their angles or their positions, but I cannot disagree with the charisma that they showed. Same goes for Greg Casar. He's a Democrat from Texas, but that is not all. He's also whip of progressive caucus, and I really enjoyed the fact that he was. He was a voice that was very loud in the house as well. So his question about comparing Pakistan with Venezuela is actually undermined by two other questions or observations which were amazing. I thought that Chairman McCall of the actual committee, this is a subcommittee, right? Or the committee actually spoke about the kind of situation, excuse me, that the US is in regarding Pakistan. That if it actually abandons Pakistan, he thought that China is going to have a field day. And that is kind of framing, a very smart framing of the US concern in Pakistan. And I think that that actually proves that Pakistan cannot be treated like Venezuela. Because there are so many other countries that concern America, and Pakistan might actually, if it is left alone, Pakistan might be, pulled more into their orbit. So that was also very important. Allow me to drink a cig, to take a cig, right? But that was very clever, very smart framing of the whole dilemma that the US faces, because in the past many years, especially in the war on terror, especially in the final days of war on terror, after General Musharraf was gone, after that, what happened was that the US had to recalibrate, and there was a different government in DC as well. And there's a lot of lobbying that goes on. So one thought that there were forces that kept on asking that Pakistan should totally be marginalized. And at that time, terrorism was really spiking in Pakistan. So at that time, the US actually thought that Pakistan is a gone case, I think. And because of that, what happened later on is that immediately we saw the CPAC, and because of that, the US has a lot of concerns, right? But that is not all. Senator Michael Lawler from New York, he is a Republican from New York, right? But a smart man. He actually spoke about the potential of Pakistan building a pipeline with Iran, and because of that they can be, both countries can come together. So we heard the answer from Donald Lu, but the interesting thing is that his question also frames the same problem, reinforces the same precept that was given by representative or chairman McCall, because if you're going to actually abandon Pakistan, then of course Pakistan is going to go to closer to these forces, these other countries. What happens then, right? I think that because of this framing, if anybody was expecting any kind of miracles out of this and any kind of magical support for PTI, that is not going to come. Of course, everybody is going to be concerned about human rights violations or alleged violations. Everybody is going to be worried about women's rights, media rights, and then terrorist activities. But do we think that America is going to actually allow its country, its economy to go bankrupt just because there's a political faction which is very aggressively arguing against the current government of Pakistan? I think not. I think that in the whole discussion, core values were emphasized, and that was good news. Freedom of press is good. Transparency, electoral transparency is also good. But took solace from the words that actually came from Donald Lu, and that was that these election day was transparent, because in my humble submission, I have repeatedly pointed out that it is easy to actually change the dynamics before the election. It is possible to change the dynamics or outcomes after the election. But when you talk about, on the election day, it is not possible to rig the electoral box or electoral, the voting that goes on. And let me give you an example. There's usually a ballot box like this, which is transparent and which is available, which is visible to all the polling agents of various political parties, which are there on the polling booth. And this is unattached to any other thing. It is transparent box, is sealed from top, and there's the space to cast your vote. Once the votes are cast, what happens? Then immediately after that, all of them, all polling agents actually gather together, and the seal is broken. And after that, all the votes are counted. And like America, every vote is contested in these places as well. So this happens to every polling station throughout the country. And because every political party has its own polling agents, which who actually have to sign on the document before it is released, it is not possible unless you have devised some kind of cloak of invisibility or some shield technology or some similar stealth technology to ensure that somebody invisible can come and stuff the box. Because this box is empty at the start, then the polling agents, they actually confirm, and then the polling starts. And after that, it is transparent. You cannot rig this box. It is almost impossible. Yes, there are places where you might not have the polling agents, like far-flung areas or places where there's too much fear. Used to happen in 90s in Karachi. But elsewhere, it is not possible that you actually capture booth, or you somehow actually stuff the box in isolation. If you don't have isolation, it can't be done. Immediately after the polling ends, this box's seal is broken, and all the stakeholders are there to count the vote. So it is not possible. So I took solace from this idea. But regarding this tabulation issues, of course, it is something that is going to be contested. But my concern is that those forms that you actually use to contest, a result, those forms are signed by the all the stakeholders as well. So it is very difficult if the election commission has the proper paper trail, then it becomes very difficult to even change things in tabulation. And there were things that happened before elections. Of course, the party lost its symbol, but neither you or I actually asked it to either not conduct free, fair internal elections, or to actually write a constitution that fails whatever travesty of the internal elections within the party took place, right? Because of that and lack of homework, they lost their symbol, and of course there were consequences. And then neither I nor you actually asked them to go for May 9th or whatever happened on that day. If they would have won, they would have been on that day. Of course, they would have actually overthrown the military and civil order, and if they would have succeeded, of course, we would have been discussing altogether different things. But now, because that attempt failed, there are consequences. So all of this is okay, but I think that uh, our Western partners, our democratic partners, see this aspect of the argument as well. Of course, there was comment about the trial of civilians in military courts. There were other things. I think it is a debate that is going on in Pakistan as well in Pakistani courts. So we will have to wait and see how that actually progresses. But if the PTI wanted to get something out of this whole hearing, I don't think they got much out of this. But it was, nevertheless, it was flattering, to hear kind words being spoken by almost all the lawmakers, and especially even those who actually distinguished or, drew distinction between people and the, public officials. Even they were kind towards Pakistani people. So I am grateful, and I think that it was a great hearing. I hope that in coming days, whenever we see another hearing, it is not about alleged faults of Pakistan, but the strength of America-Pakistan relationship. Let's hope that we can build on this. Of course, Pakistan has foreign policy and has will work with the other countries also. But the US option right now, because it lost leverage uh, in that era that I mentioned, by actually restricting many things coming to Pakistan. It has lost the kind of leeway it had. And I think that it has proven beyond any doubt that Pakistan-US relations, they are one of the strongest relations that have existed. They have actually overcome many challenges in the past. So it is important that this relationship is built, and the US actually tries to regain the leverage it should have. And that will happen when the country's economy is thriving and when American investors are here, when economy is such that both countries have something to lose if they walk away from the relationship. So this was my 2 cents on the matter. I wanted to also actually comment on this behavior of PTI's workers that is going to be seen very negatively in Pakistan, the way they were behaving there, and they were clapping even when there was talk of treating Pakistan like uh, Venezuela or Russia or other countries which are under sanction. So and then Donald Lu actually categorically said in the answer to one of the lawmakers, I think that was Tim Burchett, Tennessee Republican, that no officer or no office bearer or a person from the US was involved in bringing down the Imran Khan government. So that was interesting also and heartening because it was on record, public record, and if there was even a modicum of light there, it can be potentially a source of troubles for Donald Lu or his department. So I think that all in all, it was a win for both countries, this hearing, and let us hope that we'll learn something from it and in coming days build better relationship, which is based on the core values that both countries actually share: the human rights, the respect for human rights, democratic rights, media freedom, social media, internet freedom, and all. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.